Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and I think NCIS Los Angeles might be a hallucinogen. So I was visiting a family recently, and older family, and what do older people do? They watch a lot of TV, a lot of TV, and so I got to see shows that I never saw before, or I had just seen in passing, but now I got to see full episodes, multiple episodes, and it originally started because I would just be walking by. I was like, I don't really watch. I haven't had cable in like 9 years. It was like 2011. I was very poor and broke, and I suddenly realized I was paying like $140 a month to watch LA Inc., Clone Wars, and Millionaire Matchmaker. I was like, okay, I got to get rid of this. The funny thing is, I canceled my cable and I still got it for free for like 8 months. It wasn't until I had a neighbor, a new neighbor move in, and I think the guy went to go switch on their cable and noticed mine was still switched on, and then he switched it off. But anyway, like, 8, 9 years without watching cable. I know there's options to get like, yeah, so I didn't watch. I would watch Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff like that. But I would hear about these things. I would hear about NBC TV shows and the old school from when I was a kid where there was like 4 channels. So any popular show, I've heard of it, and I kind of walking through an airport or staying at a hotel, I'll see it flipping through the channels, but I don't really know it that well. I'm aware of the NCIS franchise. The main thing I always noted it for was they had this like goth girl, IT girl, who was clearly in her 40s, but she was like bouncing around like she was in her early 20s. So I always found that kind of cringy. This is a spin-off. I don't, again, probably visiting a relative or at a hotel, I maybe saw 1 or 2 episodes of the original NCIS. I just saw like 8 of NCIS Los Angeles. I think it was um, uh, the most recent season, and this is okay. So I first sat down to watch it because I would walk by, and they didn't have on new televisions. The motion blurring is set for optimized for sporting events so that every player on the field is crisp and clear and everything's very bright and you can see the ball. The problem is that when you have that set up so that sports looks really great, it makes all of the dramatic movies and TV shows, it makes them look like a sporting event, a very well lit sporting event, or the nightly news, or let's say Wheel of Fortune. Like, it's weird. Everything is super bright and everything is in focus. Usually you'll have one plane in focus in a movie. I mean, the best focus. So I would walk by, I go, this looks like a game show. It looks so awful. So I went into the settings, I switched it into film mode. And then it looked good. And then I wanted to sit down and like watch the whole episode, because I had just seen little bits and pieces, each night. And the show is insane. It's the craziest thing. I kept looking around at my relatives like, is anyone noticing how odd this show is? So it's NCIS. That's the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. It's basically like the FBI for the Navy and Marine Corps. Although that is like really like it's just kind of like they're cops, I don't know. So they handle. Okay, so let's just start with so many weird things. Number one, after watching about 8 episodes, I am convinced that NCIS Los Angeles, and one would assume also the original show, takes place in an alternate timeline Earth, in which, number one, Muslims helped prevent 9/11. Number two, the Civil War was either lost by the North or was lost. The South won, and then maybe there was like another war later. I'll explain why. Also, the Cold War never ended, ever. It's still going Russians. They're everywhere. They're landing bombers in Southern California. It's crazy. So it's it's got a lot of the modern weirdness of political correctness. Um, People don't say political correct; they always say SJW. That's how it started. So it has like this stupidly large cast, and you're like, why is this cast so large? Like, there's so many people in this cast. And then I remembered it's because you need to have one of like everything. You got to have, you know, so that's why there's so many people, because you got to cover, Muslim and Hispanic and Asian and everything. So you need a lot of people. And then you also need to cover the legacy characters, Chris O'Donnell and LL Cool J, when it's 12 seasons in and they're fat and they really don't give a damn about anything. So, like, I'm guessing the show was originally built around them, and then they just kind of weave in and out. Although they kind of act like they're the tanks, like, oh, let's bring out the fat 50-year-olds to take down this Russian bombing crew that's infiltrated a smuggling ring in Los Angeles. So, the that made everything click is when I realized, okay, so first of all, it's a super diverse cast, and the villains are all white. And then the guest starring characters are all minorities, and they replay the same plot in every single episode. Innocent minority is framed for a crime or accused for a crime. The person who really did it is some dude who looks like, it's always like some middle-aged white guy. They basically repeat. Then the specific crime is either stolen weapons, Russians are doing something. So much Russian involvement. That's why I'm saying the Cold War never ended. And then they even have like these like recurring Russian characters that are like helping them out. They have a midget 80-year-old, and again, this is supposed to be like a federal. This is a federal. Well, it's federal military, but it's like these are real life organizations. If I remember correctly, these military kind of like FBI special agents. Sometimes you are actually in the military, like you will apply to go to the school. But then I think there's also civilians, or you can like finish your time. It's a weird mix. So it is an interesting thing to base a show around. But the way they do it is if you hire the screenwriters and you say, do you have any military experience? And of course they say no. It's like, have you ever seen any episode of the A-Team? And they're like, yes. They're like, that qualifies. So the gunplay, oh my gosh, it's the stupidest. So first of all, everything is clearly shot for, let's make this easy for LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell. So they'll go to some park or some scrubby grassland. Oh yeah. Also, they sometimes just go to Afghanistan and they act as like LAPD cops in Afghanistan. It's freaking okay. So what are the plots? Is based somebody stole weapons. They're usually white supremacists. A military person, when they were in Afghanistan, they're always always white commander or sergeant order them to slaughter civilians, pretty much just for fun, essentially. And they need to report it, or there was a cover up and they feel real guilty. That's like every third episode. So there's white supremacists stealing military weapons. One thing I realized, and I almost wanted to do a side video about this, is SJWs in Hollywood have figured out how to make black people servants again. One of the things you realize after a while is that it's a hint. If a character has black skin, they will not have any personality. They will be essentially angels. And then I started thinking, I kept using the word angel in my head. It's like, oh, this is an angel. And then I realized, no, they're servants. They kind of just serve everyone. They don't have any real hopes or goals or dreams. And they are below one-dimensional characters. So and then Russian things. So the funny thing is that every single villain is a white person, but they don't even cast like a really sketchy tweaker, like the kind of middle-aged white guys who played every role on Sons of Anarchy, something like that. No, like I watched an episode where they had a KKK white supremacist sniper who was about to shoot Muslims, and he looked like a young Jim Gaffigan. Is that his name? The comedian? And then when they capture him, which of course they're like, let's send the two huffing and puffing overweight 50-year-olds, to climb up ladders to go get him. Again, the oldest characters are like the action characters, even though it's more like snaction. I mean, these guys, craft services is like has PTSD on this set. Then they capture this like Jim Gaffigan looking. This guy looks like he should own like a Cold Stone Creamery. He's like, oh, I moved here from Wisconsin. It was always my dream to have a Cold Stone Creamery franchise in Los Angeles, the city of dreams. But he's like this like KKK guy, and they like pull him, and then for some reason like the entire crew. So these shows always have like this really large like tech support, which are, oh holy shit, I forgot about. Oh my god. So if you ever watch Arrow, like they have Felicity, and then they have like the geeky Geekerson tech people who speak in Whedon speak. This show has like 4 of those characters. 4 of them. Oh, and then we got freaking Kmart Ryan Reynolds. We'll get to him. Oh gosh, there's so much weird stuff. So then they bring Jim Gaffigan. They arrest him, and for some reason, like the entire support crew is down there, and then the Muslim IT girl, she looks at him and she goes, "Assalamu alaikum," and then she smirks, and everyone's like, "Yes, girl, slay." Okay, so let's get to off-brand Ryan Reynolds. So he's this guy, Eric Olson Allen something. I always assumed this guy was Canadian. Turns out he's not. Plot twist. So they have a cool girl, Erica Rua, something like that. She reminds me of like a cross between Lady J and Scarlett. Like she's pretty and she's feminine, but she's also got a very athletic build, and she's good in the action scenes. And she actually like, you can tell LL Cool J, like when they're putting on his like tactical vest, he's like, not too tight. They're like, sir, everything's tight on you. So it's like not even cinched up correctly. He just holds like the M4 at like the low ready, and just kind of like he goes like real wide around corners because he just doesn't care. She does everything like really cool and tactical. Like she looks cool and she's good. And she got married to Discount Ryan Reynolds. This is where it gets even weirder. So Discount Ryan Reynolds, his brother, I don't know if it's a twin, but his brother is his stand-in and his stunt double, which is cool. And then he's married to Lady J in real life. Do you see what I'm saying? The Discount Ryan Reynolds, his brother, the stuntman, is married to the woman who plays the wife of Discount Ryan Reynolds. I had to read 2 Wikipedias like 4 times to get that straight in my head, because your brain just goes, okay, so Eric Olson Allen, whatever his name is, he was in Not Another Teen Movie. That's where I know him from. He's married to Erica Rua, Lady J. No. His brother who plays the stuntman. And I just feel like that's like some weird, like the Man in the Iron Mask thing. I mean, not to be that classist, but I feel like the on-screen talent should be the one married to the other on-screen talent. Not like your stoner brother who you got, he's like, who likes to watch Jackass. Because let's just say a stuntman on NCIS Los Angeles doesn't do that much. You might occasionally trip and fall into some conveniently placed empty cardboard boxes, but you're never gonna like do a triple gainer off of like a 5-story building. I'm guessing like maybe in the early. This is all very easy. Like easy. Everything is built around like the comfort of the actors and actresses and kind of the audience. It's very much a hangout show, but if you pay attention, you just feel like maybe the mushrooms in your pizza aren't the regular mushrooms. Like you feel altered. I felt like I was in a different state. Finally, after a week, I figured out, a little lore to explain why this world was so insane. Oh, I also created the concept of reverse health, in which older, fatter people are actually stronger and faster than younger people. Because, and also being fat, because like discount Ryan Reynolds, he's like 40. He's in good shape. He's always the guy who's getting like, they've got like, he's always getting knocked out, tripped a lot. Like he trips all the time. Shot in the ankle. They all hang out in an empty bar because I guess they built a set for a bar at one point, and then I'm guessing they realized it was expensive and annoying logistically to have a bunch of background, patrons at the bar. So they're always hanging out the bar like in with a lot of sun coming through the windows, which is just weird. Like a daytime bar without customers, it's a weird hangout. I'm trying to think about any other weird things. Oh, so there's like a military, federal law enforcement, but like everyone acts like a goofy IT person. Like everyone will always like, here's our new IT guy. He goes, hello, I'm super smart, smarter than all of you. And then, he makes a mistake and he has to rely on the team. Oh, shucks. There's also a lot of weddings and dating. It's very kind of like, it's very wholesome in that regard. Everyone like they kind of have goo eyes, and so, they're clearly planning weddings like immediately. It's so strange. Oh, and then it's also in this alternate dimension where like the military is like just almost every member is a woman, often overweight. And then you can always spot the evil person because they're a white guy who's middle-aged and an officer. So besides that, anything other... The amount of Russians was super weird to me. Like, I don't remember Russians being in so many plots since the 1980s. I mean, it's constant. Constant. And I think I got most of the weirdness. Yeah, I had to get out of my system. It takes place in an alternate Earth with an alternate timeline. And I'm also wondering, like, maybe like Russia is like triple size. Like, it's Russia is already large, but what if like Russia is like Eurasia and Africa combined, and that's all like Russia? That's like, oh boy, there's so many Russians, so many Russians. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please let me know anything I got wrong, any other hallucinogenic tropes of this show that I did not notice. I'm trying to think. There's this weird, like, kind of cringy humor that they rely on because it's really easy. So they'll often, they'll go investigate. Oh, so the other, besides all the minorities being saints, the only one who has any quirks or is actually really funny are all like these white comedians who play like minor roles, as like, he manages a pop copy or something like that. And he keeps forgetting them every time he sees them. He reintroduces it. And like, it's like really super low grade normie humor, but it went over pretty well with my older relatives. They seem to love it. Absolutely love it. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I think my next video will be Emily in Paris. Thanks for watching. Bye.